Hi, my name's Amanda, and this is Amanda Started a Podcast. One of the greatest gifts I've ever received is my friendship with Emma Christine Reed. This week, Emma joins me on the podcast to talk about forging our friendship during COVID lockdown, how she's planning a bit of an early 30s life pivot, moving from New York to London, what not to wear during skydiving, and also how to trust your intuition. Please enjoy what I'm sure will be the first of many episodes with Emma Christine Reed. We talked about this before when we became friends. I was starting the job at Flamingo, and then I was just like, I don't need any friends. I'm not going to have friends. I'm just here to do my business, do my work, to get paid, and get out of here.
Literally same.
The quote that I love that I've said on this podcast now several times is that like you don't even know some of the people you're going to love most in this world.
That is also a quote that you have said to me early in our friendship, and it really stuck with me. And now I do think about that quite often.
Yeah.
Thinking about different stages of my life.
Right.
I mean, I think a lot of my parents' friends are like people that they met when they had children.
Right.
Which is really cute.
It is really cute. So obviously we both weren't looking for friendship. In fact, we were all set.
I really was all set. When I started that job, I was being very cold. Before you started, I would come in, I would get my work done, and I would leave. I would speak to no one. People were gabbing, going to lunch. I was like, no.
It's really crazy that we became friends. I'm like a trier, obviously, especially when I find someone I want to be friends with, and I'm like, yeah, let's want to hang out, want to do this, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like we met each other with little to no trying to be friends, and then it happened super organically.
It did. I do remember the first time that we went to lunch together, and we went to Dig In. You asked me if we wanted to get lunch. I do remember you asked me like a lot of rapid fire questions about myself, and I was like, she really came in hot. Like I kind of feel like usually when you go to like a work lunch and you don't really know the person, you're just kind of like talking about work.
Oh, yeah.
But you like got down to it. You were like, are you dating anyone? Like, but I'm the kind of person that like, if you ask me questions like that about myself, I will answer them. I'm not like put off by that.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people don't just do that.
Right.
But I appreciated that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You were like, okay, lunatic. No. I'll be busy for the rest of my lunches forever.
No, we had a nice time.
I remember I thought that you were so fucking cool. And I was like, wow, she seems really cool. And she's also doing like a lot of cool stuff all the time. But I'm here to work.
Right.
And then I don't really know what happened.
Well, our friendship had like a really interesting evolution, I think, because we met each other and then COVID happened.
Right.
Like shortly after we became friends.
But I was really upset about COVID.
Yeah.
Because of everything. But also like specifically because I really wanted, like, that was when I was like, no, I want this bitch to be my really good friend. And I was like, now what? Me and Emma just aren't going to be friends because we were in like the very delicate earlier stage of becoming friends.
Right. We had like 2 times, I think, where we went out with coworkers.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's usually like when friendships really are formed. But we did that twice and then that was over.
Yeah.
But we did do our last COVID
I think about that all the time because you remember the guy in front of us?
Yes.
Well, also the way that everyone's like, okay, so we're going to end this offsite early and I guess we'll work from home tomorrow. Or whatever
for the rest of the week.
Rest of the week or whatever it was.
Yeah, because I was supposed to fly to Chicago, and I remember being like, do you think I can fly to Chicago? And everyone was like, yes.
And then that next week I was going to fly to LA. We kept being like, are we going to go on our trips?
Yeah.
And I kept checking in, like, are you going to flee the city? Because then we started getting like all the propaganda, like they're shedding the bridges and tunnels.
Right.
Manhattan is staying put. And we were like, wait, what? Should we like go? Should we flee?
No, we didn't.
To Whole Foods, Tribeca we go.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that man bought so much oatmeal. They were like the huge ones that you don't even go through once in your lifetime.
No, I've had oatmeal for years.
Yeah. And then he got 5 of them. And me and you bought like one
bought
thing.
The weirdest shit, like frozen meatballs.
That's what you got?
I don't think I ever ate those.
They're still in the fridge.
In my old apartment.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that the time that the guys who used to hang out at your old apartment on the stoop, how they used to call you Victoria's Secret supermodels.
Yeah. They would always yell things at me in the morning, and then Blair would be like, I'll beat you up. Like at the corner, we'd always say goodbye to each other if she stayed in my apartment. They would be there yelling things at me like, let's wrestle. And she was like, shut up. Don't speak to her like that.
I forgot about let's wrestle. And then also, okay, so like obviously being new friends in our mid to later 20s, I guess mid 20s, right? Then meeting each other's friends. when you're like meeting new friends and then like
Yes.
feeling out the sitch, as you do with all new friends. Even since I moved here, like making new friends, I feel like you either learn more about someone through their friends or the way that they interact with their friends. You're like, okay, see what's going on here. One of your friends I didn't love from the start, but I was like, I must be missing something here.
Yeah. Well,
I actually think this is a hot take, maybe. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think it's a hot take. I think a lot of people think they're empaths when they're not.
absolutely.
I think there's like two
agree.
empaths in the world, as I said before, and they're both in this room.
It's us.
I think also too, like, especially since starting this podcast, like obviously I wanted to do it because I feel like if I had something to listen to like this when I was growing up, it would have given me more faith. There's more than just the one path in life to take, and there's more options, and you can like live other places. If you haven't met your people yet, you're gonna fucking meet them, so don't worry about it. In that, I feel like I've always prided myself as being a really good friend, and now having really good friends since I became friends with like you and Jeff. And obviously I've had Monica as my friend from college, but really not, it didn't click until my mid-20s.
Like for me, I always had the mindset that like, oh, I found all my people and I'm set. Like I'm going to be friends with these people forever and we're going to be doing the same shit forever. I remember being in my early 20s in New York being like, I can't imagine a time where I'm not going to go out every single night of the week and get fucked up and do this, and I'm going to love all 15 of these people equally.
Yeah, forever
Till the rest of time. And then we're all going to move to some place and live together in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. Where was that going to be? Did you have thoughts? Jersey or no?
Never. No, I don't know where I thought that would be. I thought maybe I would just live in New York forever and that would just be my life.
Yeah. Where did the thought of moving to London enter your realm of possibilities then?
I remember calling my mom when I studied abroad in London, the second week that I was there, and I told her, I want to live here.
Yeah.
And she laughed at me and was like, haha, okay, you've been there for literally 10 days. And I was like, okay, one day I'll show you.
Right.
In my head, I thought that.
Right.
But I always was like, die hard, I'm not going to move to New York. I don't know why.
The city?
Yeah.
Since when?
When I was in college, I was always like, I won't live in New York. Like, it's too familiar to me. I like grew up going there all the time.
Right.
I want to live somewhere else.
Right.
And I was going to move to Chicago. I like got this job offer there. And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to go because I don't have any other opportunities here. And then literally the next day, Blair called me and she and I were only acquaintances at the time.
Yeah.
And she was like, would you have any interest in working at Refinery 29? And I was like, wait,
Blair?
Yes. Because her best friend was interning at R29.
Okay.
So she knew that they were hiring designers and she knew that I was a designer. So she asked Blair to ask me.
Okay. But you guys were just acquaintances.
And I was like, wait, that's kind of my dream job right now.
Yeah.
Because that was like the heyday of when it was like amazing.
I mean, that was probably another reason why I thought you were so fucking cool when I met you.
It's like kind of weird how that place, like people really like held it as their identity.
Well,
at
it
the
was
time.
a really cool place.
Yeah.
That's like when I worked at Urban Outfitters Corporate.
Yeah,
it was like
same
people's
vibes.
whole identity.
Yeah, that was like a cool place to work.
Yeah.
Well, I obviously was like, yes, like I would love to work there. And then I had a call with the team the next day and then they just hired me as a freelancer. And so I turned down the Chicago job.
Everything happens.
Yeah. It was like
got the chills.
It was literally like in the 48 hours that I had like asked them to have the weekend to decide. Like I didn't accept and then go back to them and say, never mind. I was like, can I have like 2 days to think about it?
Oh,
and then this all happened so quickly.
That's so crazy.
So then I came to New York and then I was like, okay, never mind. I want to be here. All of my friends are here.
Yeah. But I had that same thought when I was going to college. That's why I went to Philadelphia because I was like, I want to go to a city where I don't know a single soul. I don't want anyone from my high school going there. I didn't like high school. I didn't like these people. I don't want to be in New York. Like I grew up going to New York. Also, but I thought every city was exactly like New York. Like I thought cities were all like that's
New
what a
York.
city is. And so when I arrived in Philadelphia and on day 2 immediately realized I made a mistake, but I was like, I'm going to make it work because I don't quit. And I don't think like I had developed that idea at the time that like I don't quit. I think now when I realize I'm doing something because I'm like, I'm not a quitter, a la potentially going to Pilates the other day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not a quitter. But it's like, I don't know what that is. Like, I don't want to let myself down or something.
Right.
If I went to a different school, if I transferred to fucking who knows where, I would have had a much better college experience. Also, would I take I don't regret doing anything because I feel like it makes you who you are. Like, I wouldn't be the same person.
Yeah. You still like get so many life lessons from doing things that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Or like being in situations that aren't
Yeah.
amazing.
If everything was great all the time, you wouldn't really grow much.
No.
Okay, so you were there studying abroad, and then you were like, I'm going to move here. I'll show you one day, Mom. Similar to when you were like, I'm gay. And she was like, well, I don't know. And you're like, I'll show you. No, just kidding.
Reoccurring themes. Interesting. I do think that if I were a single person, I would have done this before. Like, I think
already.
maybe I would have done this like pre-COVID.
Really?
Time. Because I've never felt like I've been like, I want to stay somewhere for my friends or like tied to my routine. But I do think being in a relationship did change that in me a bit.
Was that like that first year of you and Blair dating? Was that when you were like in your head like, no, this is when, like, this is what I'll be doing for the rest of my life vibes?
Like being in New York?
Yeah, like with these 15 people and everything. Yeah.
Yes, I think that was like the heyday of just like being reckless, but also feeling like invincible because I had a job and I was like, I love my life. I can do everything that I want.
I think the thing that's so crazy, which is what we've talked about in the past, is that I went out every single night and I was never in my apartment and I had no money, but I just would eat like $4 dumplings for like happy hour and then just be like drunk all the time and then always be hungover and still going to work.
Always.
At like 8:30 in the morning every day. But also I would go to the gym before that.
Like going out until 4 a.m., eating drunk food, going to sleep, waking up, packing a bag for workout class and work, and then showing up at my desk like
before 9.
Before 9.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually never gone to work before 9. I feel like never in my life.
Really?
I'm the kind of person, and maybe I'll jinx it, I'm always late, but no one has ever told me, hey, you need to get here earlier.
For work or just everything? Because you're not late as a person.
No, for work.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm just really incapable of showing up anywhere before 10 a.m.
But also you're a designer. And I really believe that there's never been a time. The only designer that's ever been anywhere earlier than me, for context, for all my followers, I've been working with designers for a long time, but I'm not a designer. But the only designers, I have three I can think of. I would be the first person, if not the first person, one of the first 3 people in the office every single day when I worked at JKR. But I just think that there's a vibe with designers is like, if people are supposed to be somewhere at 9, they'll be there before 10 and no one's going to say anything.
I will always be there for a meeting in the morning. Right. Most days I'm going to get there at 10. But that's still with me like waking up at 6:30, like going to a workout class, like coming home, like doing what I need to do.
Right.
So I'm up. I'm taking my time.
You're showing up when you need to show up. Well, that's so interesting that because obviously if you had moved to London, we would never have been friends. And I know that this matters the most to me because of this part of your life story matters most to me because that would have done happen. But actually, you don't know. If we were in the same soul pod, maybe we would have met another way.
Yeah.
I feel so deeply that we are meant to be best friends and it would have happened another way.
I agree. And I think that you moving to Berlin kind of solidified that because like our friendship has literally stayed the exact same. Yeah. Even though we see each other 95% less than we did.
It's like almost 100% less because we hung out every day.
Exactly.
No matter what happened every day, like we still hung out. Even if it was just to like go for a mini walk to somewhere. Or like I would walk by your house. Living in the city, I mean, able to plop by your house whenever the fuck I wanted to. Or when we would meet at the Manhattan Bridge as halvesies, go for a walk. It's just so fun to live life and like go to workout classes with your friends and drinks and dinners and all the things. I'm like, life is so fun. I just feel like, does everyone know how fun life is? Like,
I hope. I don't think everyone does, but
I didn't know that growing up though. Nobody told me.
I always felt like it would be though.
Oh, I knew. Yeah. I did know that I was gonna have a sick life.
Yeah.
I remember this girl who actually the girl I just showed you that was pregnant again. And I was like, how is she pregnant again? She just popped one out. I just don't know if that's healthy. Again, as a doctor, I don't know if that's healthy. So she and I were friends in elementary school and early middle school. And she used to say things all the time like, I can't wait to see what I would look like at 16. I'm going to be like so hot. I can't wait to see, like, I wish there was a technology that you could go and see what you would look like when you're 16. In those moments when we're like 10 or like less than that, 8, I don't fucking know. I knew that I wouldn't give a fuck what I look like at 16. No. I knew when I hit 30, I was like, yo, I've always believed when I was 30, it was going to be like peak of going up further.
Yes.
Like I knew I would just be hotter. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. Obviously, I didn't know anything. I just knew that 30 years old was going to be good.
I do recall that I would like write down what I thought 30 would be, like when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Or maybe college, because I do remember always being like, I will have paid off my student debt by the time I'm 30.
Yeah.
I haven't. Not close. But I would write down like what I wanted like my 30th birthday to be, and that I could like pay for everyone to come and have this like extravagant party.
Right.
Which then when I turned 30, I was like, well, I don't know who I thought I was going to be or what 30 is, but in a good way, because I'm like, I have so much time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I feel so young.
Yeah.
And I think I thought 30 was so old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also that too, because like I don't know if I ever thought 30 was old. I actually don't know what I think is old. I don't even think 50 is old.
No, my perception has like really shifted. But that being said, I do look at my parents now and I'm like, oh, you guys are old. And it just like hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, oh, you guys are old.
Well, I thought like I had that. I thought I had that moment, but then I didn't. Because it was like when I met my mom in Italy once. I went to Italy before I moved to Berlin.
You moved here.
Because I remember being like really stressed about my life and like what the fuck I was doing. I went to go see a psychic right before I left. She was like, just sit on benches and look out into the universe and ask what to do. So like every time I saw a fucking, she was like stone benches. So every time I saw a stone bench on this fucking trip, I was going there and sitting and being like, what should I do with my life? And then I would just cry. And I was like, girl, I wish that the psychic almost didn't say that to me, because one of the things I've learned most in the last, I don't know, moving here and stuff, it's like being present is so important. I shouldn't be having a meltdown on a gorgeous vacation in Italy, having a meltdown about what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Your life is going to keep going and rolling, and things are going to happen no matter how much you're worrying about it or not. Anyway, I remember going to Italy.
You are good at that though, being present.
Now I feel like also moving here, I feel like that drilled it into me hardcore. Yeah. And also recently, I'm trying really hard to be present. But in Italy, my mom was like really, really bloated. I was really scared of her. And I was like, whoa, like I'm not even kidding, Emma. It looked like her skin was a balloon. And I was like, what's going
everywhere?
on? Yeah, pretty much. But mostly like her stomach kind of was giving like big balloon. And I was like, what's happening? And then her hands too and stuff. And I was like, wait, like, is my mom old? Like, is she having like old people problems? Like, what's going on? And I was like really stressed about it. And then turns out she's fucking slugging back these like little powdery drinks that she heard from a podcast were good for you or something. And they had like an immense amount of sodium. So her body was literally
what
blowing.
Drink?
I don't know. It was like something that was an electrolyte-y type thing.
Wait, I have that. I wonder if it's the same one. Yeah. It's so salty.
Well, so her literally, the second she stopped drinking it, she also was like, oh, I don't know why I'm gaining weight and stuff. It's like she was retaining so much water.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And I was like really stressed that she was old. And then I realized shortly after she stopped drinking those drinks that she's not old. And
it's just the sodium.
Yeah. Which made me feel obviously great. Now that I know she's not old.
Thank God.
Yeah. So you're like, you maybe would have moved to London earlier had you not fallen in love with the love of your life.
Who also wants to move to London, so that really worked out.
That does.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think she also wanted to move there before.
Yes, without
you
knowing me. We had we had the exact same kind of like revelation when we were there.
You guys weren't there at the same time though.
No.
Okay.
But we lived in the same place, like unknowingly. We've always lived in like the same places before. Like me before her.
Star-crossed lovers.
I know. I mean, given it's like a Syracuse.
Well, you went to the same college.
Yeah.
You moved to the same city after college. The longest time you've been apart was COVID.
Never forget.
I literally just told someone about that the other day. I was like, you won't believe what Emma's girlfriend did.
Well, yes, well, literally to go back to the Whole Foods day, like that happened as we were leaving the Whole Foods.
Yeah, that was actually bonkers.
Because I do remember reading you the text being like, wait, this is crazy.
My girlfriend's fleeing this city. Yeah. And then we were like, wait, are we safe?
But still, I feel like we were like, well, we're not leaving.
Well, didn't we go have drinks?
We did. We went to Forget Me Not that night.
Yeah. And then the next day.
After we had stocked up for our.
Stocked up. I think I got half a piece of paper towel. Like, I'm not even sure what we bought. I remember looking at you and I was like, oh, wow, she's really stocking up. I don't I don't know what to do. My roommate never returned home that day.
I feel like you never saw her again after that.
I actually never saw her again after that. You and I had a happy hour the next day, I think. It was it. We on your roof.
You came to my roof.
And then everyone in your building was kind of hanging out on the roof. And
that roof era was nice.
Yeah.
I did a lot of things on the roof.
The roof was done. The first time I hung out with Blair was on the roof. Wait, was it the first time I hung out with Blair? When she drank that entire bottle of sake?
No, that was a different time. The first time you hung out with her was at Forget Me Not.
Okay.
She met us after like a work thing, I remember. And then we went to do karaoke.
Oh my God, at Upstairs Bar.
And we bombed. I do know that. Which is crazy because we've never bombed a karaoke song. But we did that night.
Yeah. Okay. But do you know what I think it is? I don't really, again, I've said it once and I'll say it again. I don't vibe with karaoke in front of strangers at the bar.
No.
I need private rooms.
And I need the audio to be working correctly. You know?
It was the audio.
Like if you hear yourself too much and then you can't hear the backtrack.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of people chatting.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Right. It's like very similar vibes to when like a singer, it has like their like inner ear and they're like, they throw it off and they're like, that's you.
Exactly.
So you and Blair are now moving to London. What do you think like the hardest bits would potentially be of moving to London? On this side of the move?
On this side of the move, I just think literally executing it.
Yeah. just arriving.
Getting a job.
Yeah.
That really stresses me out.
But you also know that I didn't have a job. So
I think even like prepping financially, which I have been doing, but I'm also
remembering me.
Didn't. I do keep telling myself that. I'm like, Amanda was like, she didn't prep at all, really. I mean, you had to do a lot of legal things and that was really straining on you. But like, I remember there was like a couple, like I would say a couple days where you were like, I'm really trying to cut back. Like, I can't go out to eat anymore. Like, do you want to come over? Like, I'm not going out for drinks. And then like 4 days later, you were like, never mind.
I was like, what did I do for those days?
It's going to be fine. Yeah. And I mean, it was.
Yeah. And
so
also,
I do think about that. Right. I'm like, I will be fine.
Yeah, you are absolutely going to be fine. It's going to be more than fine. I think it's going to be amazing. I think Blair getting a job, I feel like that'll be kismet-y, like click, click, click. We're out.
I think I need her to be like the leader here because she is
your wife. Your wife now.
Yeah. My domestic partner. Because I mean, she's just like, not that I'm not passionate about my job, but she really has like the vision.
Right.
And I'm still kind of like, I could do anything that I want.
Right.
I just don't know what it is yet.
That's what I mean. I feel like for you, it's going to work out no matter what.
Yeah.
I feel like for her, she would never move there without a job.
Yes. And for a job that is like
the
what
job
she wants to do.
Yeah. But I'm very excited for her too. And I'm excited to have her on the podcast when we talk about that stuff. But like, I really think that, like what I was saying the other day, it's so cool to see your friends be passionate about what they do, but also be so like, success is like a weird thing to say, like successful. Just so good at a thing that they really enjoy doing and being passionate about it is like so sick. It's like, wow.
I love seeing people like that. It inspires me.
Me too.
I know that's coming for me.
I know
just
it is
waiting.
Too. I just really feel like it's gonna all clickety clack.
Yeah.
Clickety clack in like a puzzle piece. I feel like we'll be looking back in a year, maybe 2 years from now, we'll be looking back and being like, oh my God, we knew it was gonna happen. We just didn't know how, when.
And what.
That's the thing about a lot of shit I see about manifestation or whatever. It's not about a thing. It's like if you're standing by the front door, like front window, like looking out the window, being like, okay, when's the miracle coming? When is the thing coming? When is it coming? It's like you're missing all the shit that's coming in the back door.
Yeah, the other stuff that's happening.
Even though I hate saying back door like that. But you're missing everything coming in the side door.
Every door.
Every door.
Yeah.
There's doors galore.
You actually can't top that one.
No.
That was good.
No. Like with everything else in life, even you coming on this trip, you can put things off and you can be like, oh, it's not the right time. It's not the right time. I'm trying to save money. I'm trying to do this. I can't take off from work. I can't. Like, there's always an excuse for something, but life still happens. Like, you're still going to have to do it eventually. Like, the way that we're talking about, like, going to Japan and stuff. It's like, yeah, we could constantly say for years, we could say for years. Like, oh my God, well, we need more money. We need more money to go to Japan. We need more money. Or you could just fucking do things. obviously there's like restraints and stuff, but like I just moved to Berlin and that seemed crazy. Obviously there was a solid while of doing things to prep, kind of, but like, I don't know, there's always going to be an excuse not to do something.
Yeah.
So sometimes
of course.
you just, it's similar to the way I was when I jumped off that bridge in Zambia.
Scary.
That was so scary. But it's like one of those things where you can like stand on the platform and shake forever, or like just like not do it, or you just jump and it's just gonna be fine because you're attached to like a weird towel with like a seatbelt that was cut off and kind of like clipped on the side, and you just like have to trust in the universe.
That was really scary though. I really don't think I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I did it.
Well, I did skydiving,
Right,
and that was kind of the same thing, except there was a man attached to me.
Did that make you feel more safe?
Yeah, because I was like, well, he's gonna pull the parachute. I don't have to do that.
Right.
Because I think I'll forget.
Did you like skydiving?
I don't think I did. Like, I never felt relaxed. Like, even when the parachute pulled and I was like, okay,
Did you feel like you got jerked back?
A little bit. You've never seen the video of me skydiving.
No.
It's very embarrassing. I actually just found the DVD at my parents' house last time I was home.
Why is it embarrassing?
And I brought it back with me to the city so that I could watch it, but I don't have a DVD player. Well, skydiving me though, like the man strapped to me was very small, and like I am 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And also we didn't have any training before. Like,
what do you mean? I thought
it was in Prague. Like,
okay. You can do whatever in Prague.
They just like had us put on the outfits. I was wearing like
in the city of Prague?
No, like on the outskirts.
Okay.
I think we took a bus.
Okay.
Probably took us like an hour to get there.
All right.
I was wearing like wedged boots. Actually a heeled boot. And like this heinous Primark jumpsuit.
What? Wait, you wore a jumpsuit to skydiving
with like a shrug cardigan. Yeah.
Wait,
it was 2014.
No, I know it. You knew that you were going to get into
that was
another jumpsuit.
That was my outfit. Like I chose that knowing I was doing that day.
Because you were like...
And I wore the shoes. Like, they don't give you different shoes.
You went skydiving in a wedged
booties.
boot? A wedged booty?
Yeah.
So wait, when you hit the ground,
obviously I fell when I hit the ground. Like, I wasn't someone who had a graceful landing. We face planted.
You did.
But like, you have to put your legs out straight, and
but
then
you were wearing wedged booties.
Yeah. So then I put my leg down, and my heel got caught, and we went. And that's all on film. But the most embarrassing part is that when I jumped out of the plane, like I think I just started running in the air. So my legs were like, I was just running, and then they had like the
wedged booties.
Yes, with the boots. And then the camera guy is like flying like underneath you, and then they kept trying to get me to like release my arms because I was just locked. And so the guy on my back ripped my arms open.
Why?
And then the camera guy is like trying to get me to like make signals. Like, so I'm doing something cool besides just like, so I just was following him. Like, he kept going like this. And then I would do that, like shaka, like rock on, like some thumbs up.
What was going on in your eyes though? Like you could see, were you like?
Yeah, mouth open.
That's not good.
Like the air.
Really?
Yeah. I'll show it to you one day if you have a DVD player.
I don't, but like
it to you.
I could figure it out. I will say this on tape, on camera, whatever the fuck, on the record. The years of 2010 to 2016 were some of the worst fashion years.
Yeah.
That ever.
Yeah.
And I know that there's like early aughts fashion and stuff now and whatever, but there's nothing worse than those years that I just listed.
And those were the years I think where we were really finding ourselves in clothes.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
I had money to buy my own clothes. So
Right.
like those were decisions that I made.
Do you know what the first thing I ever bought at Urban Outfitters was?
What?
It was a bowler straw hat. So it's not a fedora because it was a circle.
Yeah.
And it had like a little feather. And I like bought it. And like
I can't even picture it. I can't.
Well, you don't have to try too hard because there's plenty of photos of me wearing it. Because I brought it. So that was the first time I ever went to Philadelphia, and I like visited Drexel, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go here.
Yeah.
Like I go into like the middle center city for lunch or whatever with my cousin, and then we leave, me and my mom. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's a new city, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to move to, and also Urban Outfitters, I think there wasn't really one near us yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it must have been 2011, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And so bought that bowler hat. Go to high school where I had like 5 friends and literally no guys liked me at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like going to, because my friends were like the hot pretty girls, like we got invited to like parties, and sometimes I could like tag along to like the older the older kids would have like parties and stuff, and I was wearing that hat.
Yeah.
At like parties where like everyone else was wearing like 2 layered Abercrombie tanks, but I was like, let me show my
Your style.
cool style.
Yeah.
And like obviously I was wearing Converse and skinny jeans,
right.
and like a skull like scarf.
I see the vision.
And I'm wearing a red lip.
Of course. And were you wearing heels? Probably.
Oh, I wore so many heels in high school. That I won't ever be mean.
No,
or
I
say
think that's
negatively.
amazing.
Yeah, I feel like people thought people that wore heels in high school were weird, but I wasn't.
No, I think that that's great that you did that and that you own it.
Yeah, I just never been skydiving in them.
It's not too late.
Yeah, that's so true. Okay, so you guys are moving to London. It's all going to be great and work out really well. And we're going to eat fantastic restaurants all the time. It's just so fun that you're going to live so close to me.
I know. Because when I flew from London to here, I was like, this is so easy.
It's literally like almost like commuting to one of our parents' house from the city.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, because we're always aligned. That is the coolest thing about us. It's actually psychotic that we're always on the same page.
Yeah.
It's also the greatest gift in the world.
It is.
For my viewers, for my 10 followers on YouTube. 10 million, I mean. For my 10 million followers that I have on YouTube, they're probably wondering what could we possibly be on the same page about. I'd like to say like everything.
Everything. I think we discovered this when we would like go out to eat together.
Yeah.
We always wanted the same things.
Right. There's this quote or like blurb, like soundbite, I guess, of Trixie talking about Katya being like, I can't even describe to you like when we first became friends. It just felt like we spoke a language that no one else spoke. She's my favorite person in the entire world. Like everything she does is amazing. And like every time I hear that sound clip, I think of you.
That's so sweet.
Because I really think that's like exactly how I feel. It's not even about our friendship, like being supportive and stuff. It's just like I love you so much. And I really feel like I just know that you got me and I got you.
I feel the same. Yay.
Yay. And I remember I said to my mom once something along those lines. And then my mom was like, and you didn't even want friends when you moved to that company, which is like so crazy.
I know.
But that's the thing. Who would have thunk our paths would cross because of direct-to-consumer razor brand?
Yeah. God bless the shave industry. Yeah.
So true.
And we also lived so close to each other at that time.
I know,
that I think
and it was
that
so fun.
was really beneficial.
Wait, that time that we were walking. Okay, so we're like walking. No, you tell the story.
You're talking about the Tupac story, right?
Yeah.
I think this was maybe one of the first times we went on a walk during COVID.
No, because you and Jen went to pick up the chairs from Target.
Yes.
And then you guys had like this was COVID times of like spooky where we had rubber gloves on.
We were wearing gloves, but we weren't masking yet. But anyway, we go pick up these chairs. Like I can literally still feel the way that folding chair was on my ass
so
at my
uncomfortable.
My home desk folding table.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're walking. Then we decide we're going to meet you. So we meet at like this intersection that is kind of
Bowery.
Like the cross points of where our apartments are. The way I remembered is that we gathered there and we were just like starting to chat. And then this woman pulls up in her car and she gets out. She was in a car, right?
So the way that I remember it is that we met like a block down. I met you guys a block down. We were walking with the chairs. She pulls up in her car, like pulls over, gets out of the car and was like, excuse me.
Yeah. And then
holding on her phone.
And then she's like, can you please take a picture of me?
This is so meaningful.
Yeah.
This really means a lot to me.
Right.
And we were like, in front of what? We turned and we're in front of a Tupac and Biggie mural.
And it was confusing for multiple reasons. Like, one, because she just pulled up so fast.
Yeah.
2, this is like a bustling area and it's
It's
absolutely
Bowery.
desolate.
Yeah.
It's just us.
Yeah.
So in a way, it felt like she was going to like
rob
us or something. I don't know.
It did feel like that.
And then also, it was like probably one of the first days where you were kind of like, well, I'm not like going to touch a stranger's stuff.
While you guys were touching chairs with gloves on.
Yeah.
So. And also, you were carrying chairs.
Carrying
so that
a
was
chair.
a weird thing to ask people carrying stuff to take a photo. Did we?
We didn't take it.
Yeah, I think
we said no. And then she took a selfie and then got back in her car.
Yeah.
And we walked away. I'd love to see that.
I wonder if it really meant, like, also, Biggie and Tupac, did it mean a lot because of one of them?
Yeah.
Because someone she knew made that mural? Because she thought that the world would be represented, like, it represented peace in a way?
Perhaps.
I mean, there's so much to know that we will never know. And we're going to have to be in peace with that.
Yeah.
But every time I saw that mural from that day on, I thought of that moment.
I don't think I passed it in a while, but I will always think of her.
You know what I was thinking, though? I'm really going to miss your guys' apartment.
I have such a love-hate relationship with that apartment. Recently, I have been going in, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. And I have floor-to-ceiling windows, so it's like, who am I to complain?
That's so true. Well, it's just really easy, and we talked about this a bit on Ned's podcast, too. It's really easy to complain about things, but it's just as easy not to and think of, like, what to be grateful for. But then Ned's whole take was like, well, isn't it, like, toxic at some point to be a toxic positive? It's like, yeah, of course. But I do really believe genuinely and fully with my entire heart that if you are more grateful and you continuously think about the things you're grateful for, you are just in a better mood. Like, you're happier.
It's true.
I think what I've said to people since moving here is that, especially because I'm not friends with really any Americans, not really, is that people will be like, you're so American about that take or being so positive or whatever the fuck. Or if I talk about manifesting or anything like that, it's very much like, or what? Or you're miserable forever and always?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I could be miserable. I could be like really depressed over things and be sad about shit. Or I could just be a little happier. Apparently, if you say, oh, you can choose happiness, people like really tune out. It's like 98% of people are like, fuck off. But it's true. You choose the way you feel. Like the other day when I was in a bad mood, I literally was like, I can be in this bad mood, or I can be like, no, never mind. And I literally was like, no, never mind.
It's true. I try to tell myself in the morning when I'm like going to work and I'm feeling unhappy, I'm like, no, today's going to be a good day. I have like a lot of things to be grateful for. And why be in a bad mood when I could be in a good mood and then just...
I could get myself a little treat. That's actually how we became friends.
Little treats.
I know that you have to go, but
yeah.
But I do want to ask you what I've been asking everyone else, which is if you could give yourself advice at any little age that you think you really needed it, what would you say? Mine, if you want me to give you some inspiration, has been kind of generally like, it gets better. Like, holy shit, it gets so great, actually. Like, I don't even want to tell you how amazing your life gets.
Yeah. I do think mine is similar because I feel like I always told my little self, I was like, this is just like a temporary moment. In high school and stuff, I was like, I know your life is going to be great. Like, trust your intuition and your gut and like follow what you think is right, because my intuition is usually correct.
Because you're psychic.
Yeah. But it also did take me a long time to be like, okay, yeah, I'm really going to trust what's in here.
Yeah.
So I think if I told my little self that, like, start following it now.
Because it would be even extra developed, like trust your gut feeling, your like intuition. Because that's actually such a good one. Because that also feels universal in a way, because I do genuinely think we all have a really good gut.
Yeah, I think
instincts.
Everyone has that.
And no one really teaches anyone to like be like, no, bitch, like fucking
Follow
listen to that.
Listen to it. Yeah. Tap into it. I don't think anyone has a bad intuition. I think some people just ignore them.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think the more you ignore it, the easier it becomes to ignore. The more you listen to it, like kind of trust it immediately. Sometimes now when I'm really trying to be really thoughtful about it, it's hard to peel away like what you think or what you want versus what your gut feeling is.
Yes.
How do you deal with that now?
You know, it's interesting because right now there are a couple things where I'm like, I know what I need to be doing. Yeah. Like, I know my gut is correct that like if I let go of this one thing, like doors will open. Like, I know that that's true. I haven't quite acted on it yet. I think I'm getting closer to that space. But I'm like reminding myself, your intuition is always correct. Like, I know that if you let go of this, everything will be fine.
I agree with you, and I believe that's more than true. But I do also think you're not letting it hinder you either.
No, I'm not. Definitely not. I think sometimes like practicality gets in the way of follow your gut.
Yeah. I know, obviously. I mean, yeah. I mean, like what I was joking about before, like I moved here with a gut feeling and a wish. but like I did. I literally came here and was like, I feel like I should move here. And it's like, that's weird, but also that's what should have happened, and it's so true and right.
I just read Ina Garten's book, and I weirdly felt like a soul connection to her.
Okay.
In a way where I was like, I think I would live your life, like different ways. I don't want to be a chef.
But you're also a great chef.
I can cook. But like she is someone who gets bored really easily and like she talks about her like early career working. She like worked in the White House and shit. Smart woman. Yeah. She was like, I hate it here. I hate working like a corporate job. Like I'm just meant to like be following my passions. Yeah. And I mean, her husband Jeffrey really helped hook it up. I feel like if I had Jeffrey funds, I too would really be like following my passions aggressively. And then the second I get bored, I'm like,
time for something else.
Next thing. Because she was like flipping houses. And then she opened up her shop. And then she decided she wanted to do TV. And then she was like, I don't want to do TV anymore. I want to do this. Right. I'm going to go buy an apartment in Paris and fix it up. And that's going to be my number one thing I focus on. And I'm like, I want to do all of that. Like in my own way.
But I think you literally will.
I think I will.
I really do. I really do.
I'm just waiting for that Jeffrey money to come through.
Money, yeah. Well, we got to get invested in the S&P 500. Yeah. But the one person that I read her book and then I felt a soul connection was Jenny Slate. When I read her book, I was like, did I write this book? I literally was like, why do we, in my mind, talk and feel the same thoughts and have the same thoughts and talk the same way? Which I don't know if you ever read the book.
I did read the book, yeah.
Do you feel that way about yourself with it or just...
No, I don't think so. She doesn't feel similar to me, I don't think.
I felt like every thought she had ever in her whole life is one that I literally was like, did I write this book? I just really believe like I have always found so much fun. I get energized by talking to people. Literally talking to people is like my favorite fucking thing in the entire world. I took a test once of like what should be your dream job. And it was a really long test. And it was like a motivational speaker or a talk show host. And I was like, those would be, maybe a talk show host would be like my absolute dream job of all time. And I feel that so deeply in my heart and soul. But I forget that just because I feel that, everyone doesn't feel that way. Like, I just think that everyone really intuitively has a feeling of what they should be doing with their life, and they feel it so deeply, but they think, or maybe I just think this way, but you think that everyone feels that way. Paige was like, doesn't everyone want to be a rock and roll, like, star? And it's like, yeah, a lot of people do, but like, I've never, yes, I would be a great rock and roll star.
That's not your dream.
No. Yeah. Like, I just think we know. Like, I don't know. I just feel like you feel something. Like, my Uncle Brad loves being an accountant. He literally loves it.
I'm happy for him. Couldn't be me.
Thank you so much for listening. And as always, drop any questions, comments, compliments below, whatever you want. And I'll see you soon.